Hi, everyone. I'm so excited for this Monday morning to be back on live and talking about disrupting perfectionism. This morning, was definitely spending a lot more time lounging around, which has been really, really great for this Monday. Because if those of you who follow astrology and Chani Nicholas, there's just so much muckiness happening right now, so I just really surrendered to it. But I'm really excited to have another guest today to talk about disrupting perfectionism because we met, a little while back as she invited me to be a guest speaker for her upcoming summit, which is going to be really, really good and focuses all on healthy living, healthy eating, and she is just a delight and works with so many amazing women and people to really not only create their own healthy lifestyle, but she is like the food expert. She has done so much with her own brands, but also is helping other people with their own food brands. So she's a food business coach, which I'd never heard of before, and is so amazing because it just shows like really we can find our zone of genius and we can do anything we want with it. So I'm super excited to invite Tox to join me today when we chatted. So I can't wait to learn more about her world. Hi, Tox. There you are. We're on. For anyone who doesn't
Awesome.
know behind the scenes, it took us a few times to get on here together. So
Yes. I'm so excited, Lauren. It's good to be here. How are you
I'm
doing?
so good. I was saying I feel a little like dreamy today, just really relaxed. And yeah, but how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's been a beautiful day. I had a relaxing morning. I had a late night. Well, I slept maybe about,
Yeah.
I think, 3 o'clock this morning. So I was in bed till the early hours of this morning. So it was very good to be able to do that. Yes, I'm grateful.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Well, I'm so excited to have you on here because I know when we talked, when we first connected about your summit, we just like vibed so well. But I'm excited to, learn from you. And because I've been doing this mini series about disrupting perfectionism, and, you coach a lot of people and you've built your own businesses and brands. And, it's been from knowing you for a short amount of time and just from the outside looking in, it's like phenomenal what you've done and how you've created,
Oh,
your own
and
world that really like speaks to all of your superpowers. But so I'm curious, like, to know whether, let's start with you first, I think, because talking about the people you work with, is, probably in your own journey led you to supporting them in different ways that you can. But what has your journey been like, or what is your relationship to perfectionism like? Is it something that is like has been a big deal in your life, or is it something like you've not really worried about?
oh, I'm a perfectionism to the core. If it's not good, I'm not doing it. I'm not presenting. I'm not standing. I'm not. It's basically it stops me from doing a lot of things.
Mm,
So in terms of my growing up, the only way I can explain it so that you understand at least my journey anyway and my process and where I am right now, so that you can really appreciate it. Because I know a lot of people appreciate me or appreciate my
yeah.
story when they hear it in challenge. So I'll give you an abridged version. So
Talks
I
quickly.
suffered from.
Start before you start. There's something with the audio that's making it a little difficult to hear you.
Is it better now?
Yes.
Okay, I'll come close as well.
Oh yeah, that's better.
Awesome. Thank you. So, my journey is one of someone who has suffered low self-esteem. I say that a lot, and people look like, nah, no, you don't look like it. And I'm like, I'm grateful to God I don't look like that. But definitely, I suffered from low self-esteem. I felt that I wasn't good enough. I felt nobody would listen to what I have to say. I felt I was a black woman who you just stay in the corner and be quiet. My accent, my dialect, everything about me, I thought I was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Imagine. And so that shrunk me. And when I say shrunk me, I became invisible to myself because however you think you are, that is how people are going to see you.
Right.
because that's the way I was thinking. So I thought I was small, and so that's the way I appeared to a lot of people, invisible and just the girl in the corner there.
Yeah.
And so for many years, I tried to earn, and that's what I tried to do. I tried to earn love from people by serving. I'm
Mm.
a hard worker. I like to work. I like to keep busy, and I like to do a good job. So because of that, I was able to learn a lot of things, even things that you think I don't know how to do. I promise you, I sure do know how to do it. So I became a jack of all trades. I wanted people to like me. I would serve in church. I would serve in community centers. I would serve everywhere there is work. I'm going there because I wanted to be noticed. I wanted to be appreciated. I wanted to be loved,
Yeah.
and that is what led me to this journey of you can't continue doing this stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the way it started or the way it manifested itself is because I started breaking down, I started collapsing, I started dropping. And in all this, need I say I'm married and I have children, and
Amazing.
I have a job, and I have a job that I was doing at that time. And
Yeah.
so with all of that together, I would just drop down, usually drop down. And I'll go to the hospital for checkup and they'll say, there's nothing wrong with you. You just need to relax. You just need to, put your feet up, lavender in the water, take your glasses off and take a holiday. And I kept on doing that consistently and it still wasn't helping.
Yeah.
And so I had to talk to myself.
Yeah.
That took how long are you going to continue living like this, trying to people please? And that's the word I used because I really wanted people to like me. I really genuinely, I felt love was a great gift.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was being denied of that. And I just wanted to participate and for someone to say, I care about you genuinely. And I went for an event in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
It had to take me to go to Chicago for me to
Yeah.
put myself together again. So I went for this women's conference. And the title of the conference was The Supernatural
Mm-hmm.
Woman. And the conference basically in summary talked about how you're not a superwoman. You're here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you're super, but you're natural, but the super is God basically helping you to be the best version of yourself. And so you need the help and the input. If you try to do everything by yourself, you're going to struggle. And that's what I was doing. That's what I was
Yeah.
doing. I was working really hard, really, really hard at people
Yeah.
liking me. I
And
kept,
I know we talked about that too
yeah,
on my radio show. And for people who, want to hear more of that story, I think it's really important to hear because I think there is so many times where we don't listen to our bodies, right? And you had that experience that was really strong
yeah,
and that was really like, ended up, in the hospital, like, in this place where your body is like screaming at you
yeah,
to listen, but we can get so stuck in our head of like what we need to do or how we need to prove ourselves or how we're expected to show up and that people pleasing mentality, right? And it
yeah,
can be really detrimental to our health. And now you're in this health space, right?
yeah.
It's like this is your focus and what you know best. And I want to ask you another question, but um, the last time you were speaking, it was hard to hear. I could hear it,
Okay.
but it's cutting in and out. So I don't know if there's a way to quickly.
Let me check my internet. Just give me a minute. I
Yeah,
could.
because I really want people to hear what you have to say because it's so so important.
Okay, so I've removed my Wi-Fi right now. I'm using just my mobile data. Does it sound
It
better?
kind of feels like you're going in and out, but I think it's better. We can see, and then I'll just let you know if it's not working. But let's try. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Hopefully it's okay. But with that journey and now to this place where, you kind of hit that rock bottom, like health wise and probably emotionally, right? And knowing
Mm-hmm.
like you can't keep doing what you've been doing. And like the thing with our brains is that
Mm-hmm.
we're more likely to repeat patterns of
Mm-hmm.
what we know if it doesn't align to our, the highest good for ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
if it is aligned to how we need to like treat our bodies and show up authentically because our mind already knows what the outcome will be. Like there's that comfort whether it's good or not, right? So to
Yeah.
like really go down this path of doing things differently, like even then our bodies can sometimes feel like unsafe because there's unknown. There's all that nervous system work that we get to do to really help that process and regulate our nervous
Yeah.
system.
Mm-hmm.
And so what was that process like for you from then until like where you are now?
Okay, so I wrote a few things down because I wanted to share it instead so that if anyone wants to take notes,
Yeah.
they can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 12, maybe 13 points I wrote down there. So the first thing I would say,
Here's
yes, the first thing I would say is recognize and acknowledge um, perfectionism, as you know that you struggle with it and know that it's a thing for you. Because the more you are self-aware that something is up with you, I don't want to say down,
yeah.
it is to solve. Then you know there's a
Oh,
problem,
you
there is a challenge, there's an
froze.
issue, and let's work towards it. I froze
Oh,
again.
you're
I'm
back.
back.
You're back.
Oh, let's work. Oh,
Yeah.
please work. Please
Yeah.
work. This is a good session. Don't do that. Thank you. Network. So the first thing I said is recognize and acknowledge perfectionism.
Right.
And the reason why that is important is because if you don't know that you have a challenge or an issue or a problem, whichever English word you want to use to describe it, then you're not self-aware about it. You can sort it out. You know, you have a headache. You don't actually acknowledge I have a headache and I need to go to the hospital or I need to, rest or do something about it, then the problem will keep happening over and over again. So the first thing I did was to acknowledge that there was actually acknowledge perfectionism as something that was an issue for me that I needed to be solved. The moment I did that, then it allowed me to set realistic expectations for myself in terms of tasks and things that I did. So that's number two, set realistic expectations. So anytime I was doing something, I would tell myself, give myself 2 weeks to do this, give myself 1 week to do this, give myself 24 hours to do this. I hope you're still hearing me, Lauren.
Yeah, I can hear you. It's cutting in and out, but I think we can all hear. Yeah.
Awesome,
Okay.
awesome. So that's number two. I set realistic expectations for myself, and that allowed me to work on what I needed to do and not everything in the whole world. So
Yeah.
I'm a writing person, as you can tell right now. So I wrote down my realistic expectations for things. And then number three was my mindset. I needed to work on my mindset.
Mm.
I needed to renew my mind in terms of the way I was thinking about life. I needed to know that my mistakes, especially, or my imperfectionism, you understand, me thinking that too tall was a problem, me thinking that wearing glasses was an issue, and that my failures are rather opportunities for growth and for learning. You say, how does that imply? Trust me, the moment you know that whatever you go through in life and that the mistakes you make in life is a lesson learned of how not to do it again, success. Because now I know how not to. So if I have to go through this journey again, I know not to go that way because I know I'm going to fall into a ditch. You've learned, that's wisdom, that is growth, that's maturity.
Yeah.
And so that's what I started taking. So I said to myself, in life, there is no failure. I heard the quote actually. In life, there is no failure. There is you either learn or you either learn and how do they say, you win or you learn. That's it. Because you win in terms of you learn in terms of you know what to do.
Yeah.
So there is no at all. You always win, regardless of how you look at it. So that's number three, positive mindset. I needed to work on my mind. And number four, in terms of my tasks, I chunk them down. So if, for example, I want to write a book, which is one of the things I'm doing right now, I would chunk down the process of writing down a book. So if I say I want to write 5 books, for example, now, I tell myself, are you writing one book a month? Are you writing one book in 2 months, in 2 weeks? Then in that 2 weeks, I'm saying, how many hours am I devoting to writing, to researching, to finding out more about editing in case I've missed out on information, new information, as you know, things change and it improves as well. So you chunk down your tasks into manageable steps so that you are able to tick. There's something about ticking that just gives you a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
So that is what I do. So that is number four. Then number five.
Yeah. Yeah, those bite-sized tasks that you can, take small actions and celebrate along the way. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So number five was be kind to myself.
Yeah.
Because now I have come back from a place of not trying to serve now because I wanted to earn your love. I'm serving because I enjoy it. I'm serving because I want to make a contribution. I'm serving because I want to give value. I'm serving because I love. So now I needed to also have that inside of myself because I realized I can't give what I don't have. You can't, what you don't have, you can give. You can't pour from an empty cup. So I was very, very kind to myself. So if I realized that I was dropping, and when I say dropping, literally my body is exhausted, I'm going to go and have a lie down. If I
Yeah.
feel like I need a break, I take a break. I'm not going to push myself and say, let's just go the extra 10. No, 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 extra 10. I'm tired. I'm tired right now. My body needs rest. My body needs rest. We're having a rest right
Yeah.
now. I have time. I schedule in fun things. I love watching movies.
Uh,
I schedule in. So I'm one of those people that watch, on average, I watch 2, 3 movies a day. Don't ask me how, but I do. I may not be watching it 100% all the time, but I put something that relaxes me, that calms me down. I love
oh
movies. I
my
just
God.
think they're amazing.
Way with reality TV shows, I'll have them like in the background or like series that come out, even if it's on Netflix. Like I will have that in the background, like on my
Yeah,
iPad. I'm with you. I get it.
yeah. So it's self-love. I always say do happy things. That's what I call them when I speak to my
Ah,
friends or to people I talk to. I say, do your happy thing. What makes you happy? What puts a smile on your face?
yeah.
Music does that for me every day. So I
To
always have it all around
us,
me.
the movies you're watching each day, you could share them on Instagram with all of us. I love
Yeah.
that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then another number 6 now is accept imperfectionism. I talked about recognizing and acknowledging it. Now I also needed to accept it. And when I say accept it, I'm talking from a place of no one is perfect. So that means no one is expecting me to be perfect as well. It is okay. I tell myself good is good enough. So when I write that report, when I prepare that presentation, when I'm preparing for this live right now, I will look at myself and say, yes, I may not have all the whole glam and charm, but let's go, you look good. That is fine. Let's
You
go. Let's
really
do
good.
it. Good is good enough.
Yeah.
Good is good enough. So that's it. So number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we're on number 7 now. Seek feedback and perspective. So I have learned now to get feedback from people. So every time I do like a live or I write a meeting or I'm involved in a project, I always say, how did I do? Is there any area I could have improved? What are your thoughts? I want to hear what people have to say. Not necessarily because I want them to applaud me and celebrate me, but more because I want to see perspective. I want to make sure if there's any way I could have been better, that I am learning from people. So I will say seek feedback and perspective. And it gives you a balanced view as well. So it's not all about yourself at the end of the day because you want to show, like I said, a good front, but hearing what people have to say, I believe will help you in terms of being removing perfectionism out of it. Because at the end of the day, you hear people say, oh, you actually did a great job. I couldn't have done half of what you've done. And that will also, boost your self-esteem and confidence as
Yeah.
well. So we're going to number
I
8. Hopefully my number is right.
take a moment though, to talk about that last point you made because
Yeah.
seeking that feedback too, I think, something to be said about this is, we can behind the scenes, say with your presentation, for instance, design this perfect presentation in our eyes, right? And then you get this
Mm-hmm.
feedback, and maybe the person's like, well, I didn't even understand this concept, or I felt like there was something missing, or this and that. And that feedback can really allow you to, rather than like see it from this perspective of like, oh, what I did wrong or what wasn't, what would make it more perfect, is maybe like, how can you improve the experience of the
That's
person on the
right.
other side
That's
that is like,
it.
that you're sharing with it? What is the experience that they're having, and how can
That's
you
right.
enhance that experience so that they can, not only understand what it is you're sharing, but they can like feel these emotions that you're wanting them to feel based on
That's
what it
right.
is you're wanting to share with them. So that
Absolutely.
came up for me right away when you were saying that, because I think, yeah, when it comes to seeking feedback,
Mm.
or asking for feedback or getting feedback, I remember as a kid, getting feedback and just like being in tears and thinking like I wasn't good enough because I'm getting this feedback,
Mm.
and
Mm.
it's, now I can take a step back and be like, okay, that's not what it's for, right?
Yeah.
We get to receive feedback for different
Yeah.
purposes, right? And so I think reclaiming that and realizing that is a really, really big thing, that can help us with that. So thank you for pointing that out,
Awesome.
before you keep going with all the
Okay.
amazing.
So number 8 is practice relaxation and mindfulness. You know how I talked about doing happy things?
Mhm.
Um, perfectionism is such, how would I say it now? It's such a heavy thing you carry on because you want to dot the I's and cross the T all the
Yeah,
time. And in
yeah,
the real world, it is not like that. And so you put a lot of pressure on yourself. And so to again, allow me to use the word balance it out. I always practice relaxation and mindfulness. So whatever relaxation technique is for you, mindfulness is for you. I say, like I always say to people, it's do your happy things. I always find time to do things that put a smile on my face. You cannot continue putting that much pressure on yourself. And I believe that if you want to loosen yourself from perfectionism, after you've acknowledged there is an issue, it's for you to take time out, and just relax. Breathe in, breathe out. The other day we had like a session of breathing techniques.
Yeah.
Just breathing. About breathing that just it relaxes you out and just makes you feel good. It's only for pregnant women. Everyone should have a go at doing that, especially if you are someone who struggles with their perfectionism, because I promise you, you'll feel good about yourself eventually, and you know that it's not that deep. Like I always say, it's not that deep.
And breathing,
It's not that deep.
it'll stimulate that vagus nerve and just allow us to really center into our bodies and our breath and our hearts. But it also allows there's just so many physical like benefits and mental and emotional benefits from breathing, from taking that breathe deeply and fully, and I love it.
Good. So I also have here in my notes here, I wrote set time limits. So anytime I have a task, that I've been given, let's say at work, I have a project I'm working on right now, and they tell me to submit it in 2 weeks' time. I give myself maybe so 2 weeks' time, let's say it's 14 days. So I'll say 10 days for myself and give myself 4 days to review the work I am doing. And the reason you do that is so that you can catch yourself from time to time. There's something about the eyes and report, for example. You look at something, you may be blind at it, but if you take a break and then you come back again, then you see things that you might have missed. And you also give you an opportunity to allow other people. I talked about seeking feedback. You can give the report to someone else to read and they say, oh, I do that with my husband a lot. I say, can you just read through what I've written? What do you think? Is there anything? How does it sound to you? Again, you are improving your learning and its perspective, like I said. So it's kind of like all in one, but it just gives you time to breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out.
It's so true, because even more recently, I've been doing a lot more work writing hypnosis and meditation scripts for other practitioners, for them to record or to share with their audience. And, technically it doesn't take me very long, right? Like I get in my zone, or I can't like it doesn't take me hours and hours, but I'm finding that this process now is taking me days to do, because it comes with giving myself that spaciousness to receive those downloads of what some of these concepts are, or what are some of these key messages. It allows me that space to also go out into the world and experience things on my own. And the universe always has a beautiful way of helping us connect the dots, and it allows me to learn from others and just listen to things that can influence this work that I'm doing. So it's really funny that you say that, because, well, it's not funny, it's very spot on, rather, because I've been giving myself more space, and maybe more space than I would like, to deliver projects that are so small in a shorter amount of time. But it's been, I think, really beautiful, and it showed me that I can take that spaciousness, and with that my work becomes even better, without feeling that pressure to get it perfect within the first day, right? I take that time and I don't feel that pressure. So I think that's really lovely that you shared that, because I think we can also allow time to put a pressure cooker on us that doesn't need to be there. Yes, there's going to be deadlines for this or that, and depending on who you're working with or who your audience is, we need to get things done. But if you can design the way you work to allow for that spaciousness, I think that's when all that happens, right?
Absolutely. And can I add to it as well? Let's say, for example, you can't even meet the deadline. You already know, like I always say to people, you don't wait till day 14 that you're supposed to submit the report. You say, oh, sorry, I can't submit the report. No, I don't think that is nice. I don't think that is kind. I don't think that's professional. I believe that, 2 or 3 days before, you hint the person to give them feedback. I do that a lot. When I work with people, I generally will send you emails from time to time to let you know what is going on. So if I said, oh, the program was going to happen on Monday and it's not happening on Monday, and I know already by, I don't know, Friday or even Thursday. I'm going to send you an email. Hi, hello, what's up? How you're doing? Well, I just thought I'd let you know, some things have come up right now, and it's looking like I have to move this now. It's not going to happen, but it's still going to happen, but I want to keep you in the loop. People like
Yeah.
to know that they're being carried along, and you're not just messing with them, and you are not appreciative of their time. So just letting people be honest and saying to them, this is what is happening right now. I can't do this right
Yeah.
now, but it is on my to-do list. Do you have a deadline? Must I meet that deadline? Because if they too may have given themselves, some time as well. Maybe they don't need it on the 14th day, but they've given themselves a week to review what you said. I don't know. I'm just saying. But the moment you are honest and upfront with people, trust me, your life will be a lot easier. And perfectionism, you see, you don't even need it anymore again. Because like I said, no one is perfect. And if you know that good is good enough, you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to add that to what you said.
Yeah.
So going to number 10 right now, I would say professional help. Seek professional help. And the reason I say seek professional help is I could say all of these things, and you're like, so I have been there, done that, it's not working. And sometimes you might need that extra help. And I want to encourage you that seeking help, how do I say this now? It's only a meek person, I say that again, it's only a person that will seek help. If you feel proud, you think you've arrived, you're okay, you don't need any help from anyone. There's only a meek person who actually acknowledges that, yes, I am struggling with this and I want to move forward. You have a purpose in this life that we're living in, and you don't want to be selfish because I'm sure we all acknowledge that we're here for a reason. We're not just here to just pay bills and die.
Yeah.
We're here to do something fantastic. And so if you don't want to be selfish, allow me to say it in this word. Teresa Vell says, is one of my amazing quotes. She says, someone is waiting on the other side of your obedience. I'll say that again. I know I said it fast. Someone is waiting on the other side of your obedience. So for them to be in their place, you need to be in your place.
Yeah.
And so if you are struggling with perfectionism, someone else is not moving. They are literally stuck because you're stuck. So you need to be on stock so that they are on stock so that everyone can move. We are all pieces in a puzzle.
Yeah, I never thought of it
Yeah.
that way. That's a really good insight as well, because we all have in everything that we do. Yes, I think it's, essential that we prioritize ourselves first, but understanding, having that awareness about the ripple effects and what those have for the positive, the negative, the gray area. There's always duality. Not everything is black and white, right? Like
Yeah.
they're things can be this end, but just having that awareness, I think, is something that can maybe be as, not only a motivator, but be the thing that allows us to understand some of these patterns and, have some sort of insight into, how it is we can support ourselves to show up differently. And of course, hypnosis, like this is why I started doing it, was because it was like, I could read all these articles or watch an Instagram live that gave me all the tips, but there's so much in our brains that are just there's these stories, there's these limiting beliefs, there's these blocks, and until we like reprogram them and actively go on this journey of getting to this place where we can do things differently. Like it's so easy, it's our default to stay in that loop of the way we've been doing things all this time. So I think it's beautiful, like you said, to be able, whether it's hypnosis or coaching or whatever support, know that like most of us, actually, I'm assuming I'm going to make a generalized blanket statement that all of us who are coaches or hypnotherapists or mentors or this or that, like have walked before you, right? We've all struggled with things. And so, this is why we do the work that we do, because we know what it feels like to be stuck or like, these loops. And it's just like, I know for me and for you as well, it's like amazing to know that we get to help people, break free of these things that we know were so impactful in our own lives. So thank you for sharing thoughts. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I have two more points to share. So the number 11 is practice patience.
Yeah.
My husband was saying it to me yesterday. He says, you are so patient. And I thought to myself, 10, 15 years ago, you couldn't have called me a patient person. But right now, My husband is telling me I'm a patient, but I'm like, yes, I am patient. I never knew in my bones that I could be patient. And the reason I'm saying patience with perfectionism is that when you're too hard on yourself, you forget that, there's time in between all these things happening. Things takes time. And so you might not switch it on immediately. So you might not be able to do everything all at once, but if you start with one and two and three and you breathe and you go four, five, six and you breathe, sometimes you might have to go back to one again and do one, two, three, four, five, and you progress. But patience, give yourself patience, practice patience with yourself. Like I told you before, self-love, love yourself. I believe that practicing patience as well is one of the ways you love yourself. So that when this report, for example, you don't submit it on time for whatever reason, circumstances beyond your control, for example, this practicing patience will kind of allow you to breathe in and out and know that thing takes time and that you will get there. You have a destination in front of you and you are aiming to, as long as you are taking a step in front of the other, then you definitely get to the place whereby perfectionism won't be an issue for you anymore. In fact, you just get on with it. Allow me to use that word. So practice patience with yourself. And then the last, and like I said, not the least, but I love this one so much. And celebrate your achievement, no matter how small it is. You know how it is that we do all this work and we forget to pat ourselves on the back and say,
Yeah.
folks, you've done a good job. Yes. When it comes to perfectionism, one of the massive skills for it is practicing celebration, celebrating your achievement. It does something to your brain, it does something to your mind. Like I always say to people, you can always trick your mind severally because your mind really doesn't know anything. It's whatever information you pass across to it. That's what it takes on and that's what it feeds on. I'll give you a very good example of what I mean by that. You know how it is when you want to buy a red title, like me, I like the color red. And all of a sudden you see red everywhere. Are you telling me red cars didn't exist before then? Of course they did. But there's something about the mind that the moment you put your mind to it to say red, you are now more aware of red everywhere. So the same thing with celebrating achievement. The moment you start celebrating your little wins, I call them little wins, you can call them big wins, but I just want to say that no matter how small you think it is, celebrate it. Buy that dress, go for a walk, lie in 30 minutes extra instead of waking up at 9 o'clock, stay in bed till 9:30. Why not? Treat yourself as well. It doesn't have to be an expensive thing, but celebrate. It does something to your mind. And I promise you, the more you do that, you realize I really didn't have to force that much. I really didn't do, that perfectionism, ego, or problem that you think you have will just gradually be slipping
Yeah.
away slowly by slowly, and it will be a thing of the past, and you just get over it.
Yeah.
But with time, remember I said practice patience, practice patience, practice. And remember, love yourself, love
Yeah.
yourself. Good is good enough.
It's good. My treat is always like I'm like a big tea person, so it's either like buying a new teacup, buying a new tea, just blending my own tea that I love. Right now I have my matcha latte, but it's like we get to whether whether the thing is big or small, the celebration doesn't have to be super like big either to be meaningful, right? Like we can find these little things that allow us, yeah, to just feel that celebration. And it's funny that that's the last one you shared because yesterday I was doing like a big deep clean of my space. And I have this beautiful bowl that I bought, I don't know how many years ago now, but it was like this bowl that I really wanted for a long time. It was by these designers in New York that when I was living in London, I was helping with this exhibition and they were some of the designers and I just loved them so, so much. And I was trying to get my hands bowls, but they're in New York. And I just thought, how can I get it? Whatever. And then one day they were having like a samples type of sale online. So I ended up getting one. And it actually, the vessel for me that in 2022, anytime anything big or small happened, I'd write the date and whatever that thing was on this little piece of paper and I would crumple them up and throw them in that bowl because it was like my special bowl, my special things. And yesterday I actually, because I haven't really done it consistently in 2023, but that's okay. But I went through them all yesterday and I unraveled them and I read them all and I put them in a different box. But it's just like really cool how we can also create these rituals that allow us to celebrate. Just doing that small act can be so impactful for like your your current self, but also your future self too, when you get to look back and see like, oh, I've done all these things. Yes, maybe I've been spending a lot more time recently, like thinking about what I have yet, or kind of getting stuck in a wheel of lack, or being stuck in this place between dreaming about the things you want to experience, but also like having this realistic, these moments where it's like, oh, okay, this hasn't happened yet, like that is really real when it comes to our human experience. So getting to have these moments where we can pause and also think about how far we've come is pretty cool.
Yes.
It's really, yeah.
Yes, it is. Let me add to what you said, because you shared about unscrambling the paper in the lovely
Yeah.
cup that you put that in. I do something similar, but it's a gratitude jar. So I
Yeah.
start off by saying that have a jar. It doesn't really have to matter. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could just be a massive mason jar. But basically, every depending on you, some people do it every day, some people do it every week. So 52 weeks or 365 or 350, 356 days, depending on what it is the year is. So every day write down what happened today that you're grateful for. So, you know, someone blessed me with a lovely shoe, someone complimented my work, someone, gave me, I don't know, whatever you're grateful for. And every time you write it, just put it into the jar. Put it into the jar. So
Yeah.
that by December 31st, you're going to pour everything out, and you see this amazing thing that has happened to you in the year. Because sometimes we lose sight of the awesomeness that has happened, of the gratitude that we
Mhm.
should be sharing and grateful for by December 31st, because we are looking at the things that did not happen. Again, that's part of perfectionism. I should have, I should have, I should have, I should have. But if you practice gratitude, and by putting everything in the jar, by the time it's December 31st, you see how much you have to be grateful.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I'm gonna do that, I think, for the rest of the year. I do it every day when I wake up. Before I get out of bed, I look around the room and think of all the things I'm grateful for in my space. But I
Yes.
think that while my jar is empty, I think that's the activity that I get to do now. So thank you for that, Talks.
Awesome. So, in closing, Lauren, I want to say I have a statement here I want to read out. So, I just want everyone to remember that perfectionism is a habit, just like every other thing that we are learning. No one is born a perfectionism. It's a habit that we have learned, and so we practice and persistence, you can change it. Remember, I said be kind to yourself. If you start implementing everything that I have shared, take it one step at a time, you will gradually move to a place of healthy and more balanced approach to life and to work. And I'm hoping that you will find this very, very useful.
Oh, well, thank you, Talk, so much. That was so fun. And just to hear all your points organized so nicely, I think can really help to paint a picture for a lot of people who are like, where do I start? Where do I go? So thank you for sharing, from your heart and from your experience. And I appreciate it so, so much. And yeah, I can't wait for people to watch the replay too. For anyone has tuned in or will be tuning in, leave some comments down below, and then we'll have a look back and just kind of share like what stood out to you most, or maybe what it is you're struggling with most. We're here for you. We're here to support you. So keep commenting. And thank you so much, Talks. I know it's the end of your day, and I'm starting my day really late. It's like noon now. But it was such a beautiful start to my day. So I thank you so much.
Thank you, Lauren, for having me. It's a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Uh,
Thank you so much.
Good. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.